everyone, welcome back to the 30-Day Speaker Summit. My name is Daniel Francis, and we got an amazing guest in the summit, Dr. Laurie Bouchard. And just to kind of give a quick overview of who she is, she's an amazing person with a big heart based on me getting to know her and her team. So just to kind of give you a quick breakdown of Dr. Laurie, she is an author, an entrepreneur, and a licensed a naturopathic doctor. She completed her degree in health science at Western University prior to completing her doctorate in naturopathic medicine, a 4-year full-time program at a prestigious Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine in Toronto. She's the author of Live Longer and Stronger with Breast Cancer, endorsed by U.S. presidential candidate and 4 times New York Times best-selling author, Marianne Williamson. It is a step-by-step guide to help women fight their cancer more effectively. She is the owner of Oakville's most innovative naturopathic healing center, Inside Health Clinic, which has been helping men and women reverse complicated diseases such as Lyme, chronic fatigue, Hashimoto's, and infertility for over a decade. So hopefully I didn't butcher that intro too bad. But welcome, Dr. Laurie. How you doing today?
Hi, thanks for the intro. Thank you so much for having me. I love your energy, and I'm really excited to be here today.
I love it. No, you know what? I was looking for a naturopath with your background to kind of give like a different perspective. I think in the stuttering community and the communication world, we get very like closed-minded to just one way. And the whole point of the summit is I want different perspectives to truly help, because I'm very similar to yourself. Like a holistic approach is the best thing, healthy mind, healthy body, right? So, but with that being said, before we kind of get into it, Dr. Laurie, is there anything that you want to say to the audience, for anyone who stutters and wants to get over it, or anyone who just wants to better their speech as a whole and look at it from this perspective?
Yeah, the fact that they're even tuning in and wanting to better their health and just learn everything possible to succeed and to accomplish their goals. I think that's amazing, because knowledge is really power. If you don't know about something, just learning about it and learning how it can incorporate into your own life is phenomenal. So I'm just congratulating anyone that's listening, because there's a lot of juicy information that's about to come. So I'm excited that you're here.
It's our new favorite word, juicy.
Right?
But,
Yeah. We're gonna
cool. So my first question that I have for you is, what is naturopathy, and why is it important for one to be aware of their body when relating to speech? Because I've gotten some heat on this, because I'm very big on, like, when I get up in the morning and I hit the gym, it allows me to speak better. Or when I'm eating healthier and I don't shove a bunch of junk food into my face, or I'm drinking too much alcohol, like that makes me a better communicator. And some, let's say, people in this world say, no, that's the wrong way of looking at it. So I would love your feedback on this and why that's so important.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point, because we all just love quick fixes. If we could just say, yeah, just take this one pill and you're going to be healthy and speak perfectly for the rest of your life, like who wouldn't want that magic pill, right? So naturopathic medicine is really it's a system of healthcare. So looking at mind, body, spirit, environmental, looking at the food we're eating, looking at everything that makes us healthy and feeling strong. And so really, just to say it's just one thing, we know that's not the case, but we are so used to the conventional model of saying, okay, we have a cold, let's take antibiotics or a cough suppressant, or let's take something that's treating the symptom. So what we're trying to get away from is just from treating a symptom to looking at the whole person and what makes up your nervous system and your immune system and how stress is related to all of that. So it's how it's all intertwining and really creating a plan that's helping you feel stronger.
Wicked. So what are some mistakes that you see with people? Like, do you get any clients that say, I want to better my speech? Is that even a thing, or is this like in a different realm?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I generally see a lot more with children where it's their parents concerned, and they say there's got to be something, because ever since they would have some sort of milestone, ever since they started potty training, or ever since there was another stressor in their life, they realize, okay, their speech is being disturbed. So what I would look at is, okay, what are they eating that's affecting this? How is their sleep? Let's look at so with children, it's not any different than how I'd look with adults who are stuttering or have speech issues. So we want to look at the entire subset of what's going on in their life and what could be impacting how they're able to vocalize and what their nervous system is doing that's allowing them to even go from more of a sympathetic state to more into a calm parasympathetic state. So there's a lot involved, and that's where I really dig deep and try to understand the full picture.
Yeah, so I would love to dive deep into that. So bringing them into that calm state, is that what you said? That more relaxed state. What are some things that people are doing right now that is really affecting them that they don't maybe even know of?
Yeah, and so from the patients that I've seen come in, they know a lot of what triggers them and what makes them feel worse or making their speech worsened in the fact that a lot of stimulants, so any kind of like caffeine, they know if they have too much caffeine, their nervous system is just they're too heightened. It's almost that fight or flight reaction.
Mhm.
Sugars can do that too. So if you're eating a diet full of sugar, then they notice your symptoms could be worse as well. Anything that can invoke a stress response. So some of us are a lot better at helping metabolize cortisol and how we deal with stressors. That's where I love just to do testing, just to really dig deep and understand what's going on in their system. So I do a 24-hour cortisol test just to see what is your body actually producing day to day, things that generally shouldn't give you stress, but maybe they do. And then how is your body able to metabolize that cortisol to get rid of it in the system? And so looking at you individually and saying, okay, how's your body responding to even just a simple day-to-day task? Maybe it is going into that fight or flight. So things that we can do to really help change that dynamic so your system doesn't see it as such a stressor.
That's
So
awesome.
adrenals are a big one. So adrenals and how your body's releasing cortisol is a huge part when it comes to speaking and how your body's getting through that stressor.
Crazy. Yeah, a different perspective, which I love. So I always talk about, like, whenever I talk with my clients, the basics are like sleep, hydration, and diet. So what are your kind of basics that with your clients, just to make them, it's really just like healthy body, healthy mind, right? So what are your kind of basics to get them in that state?
Yeah, I would agree with sleep is a big one because we all know if we're not sleeping through the night, the next day you're just a hot mess. And a lot of people do get the brain fog and have difficulty finding the right word. And so having enough sleep, but not even just being able to sleep or throughout the night, we want to get you into that deep REM sleep and make sure the quality is there too. So not waking up every hour. So yeah, sleep is a big one. I would say toxicity is another one. So what we're exposed to, and not only just what we're exposed to, but how well our body can eliminate it. So
Hmm.
looking at what the exposures are. So if even if you just say, for an example, we're not a smoker or worked in a coal mine or anything like that, it's what was your mom even exposed to? So even from the womb, what have you been kind of like inherited? What's been passed down from you that's taking on more of a toxic load? Because I always look at toxicity as how that really impedes how you absorb nutrients, how your nervous system is functioning, even just like going to the bathroom every day, how well we're able to eliminate. So any extra burden on the system, we really want to take a good look at that. So sleep, toxicity, and looking at hormones. Adrenals and hormones are huge. So like you said, sleep, diet will all impact how our hormones are functioning. So it's really that full foundational picture that we need to have all of these things working well in order for us to have healthy speech.
Well, I really want to ask you this question on sleep. There's so many questions I can ask you. I'm so excited. Sleeping pills. Are you a fan? Are you not a fan?
Like as in like medicate like pharmaceutical sleeping pills or in
Yeah, like
any like
ones you
any
get ones you get from Costco.
okay, so I so I'm a big fan of choosing supplements that have been third party tested. And so certain places maybe like Costco or like Shoppers or just some of the brand the quality is really important.
Mhm.
Anything that gets you kind of like into that circadian rhythm that helps you get back into, so like melatonin is usually a good one, but not everyone benefits from melatonin because not everyone's deficient in it, right? So when it
Mhm.
comes to taking something for sleep, it's understanding why. So someone who gets a lot of anxiety at night or their mind just can't turn off, they likely won't benefit from melatonin. Whereas someone who is a night shift worker and has their kids wake them up throughout the night, they likely will. So it's looking at why the sleep is an issue. What's happening? Are you able to fall asleep and not stay asleep throughout the night? So looking at that individual pattern. So yes, I'm all about doing everything possible to get your sleep in order, leaning away from conventional, more of the pharmaceutical drugs, because we know that can be very addictive too. So understanding why it's not happening is the biggest treatment option, right? Knowing why there's an issue there, and then treating that. So yes, to answer your question, I love helping with sleep and doing anything possible to help your system sleep better.
Yeah, no, that's super cool, because a lot of people that I talk to, that especially if they stutter, if they don't get enough sleep, I know it sounds so basic, but that will affect your stuttering. That will affect the way you connect to words and you articulate the thoughts in your head. And it sounds so basic, but people just, oh, I got 3-4 hours of sleep last night. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
know that no one can function well off of that unless you're jacked up on caffeine or you're taking a lot of like pre-workouts or something, but no one can function well off of 3 hours of sleep. So exactly, it's almost like your inherited weakness of what you've kind of inherited from your parents. It's those deficiencies going through as you're going on of what is going to be expressed. So if you're exhausted, yes, like everything will get worse. It's just a fact, right? So getting your sleep in check and a good quality sleep is so important.
My next question is COVID. So I've seen quite a few patterns, I guess I can call it, of a lot of people that they said, my speech got worse during COVID, or because they spent a lot of time in the house. They're not really active, not really moving. What are some key things that you've kind of noticed with people that advice you've given to improve their condition, whether it's working from home or whatever the case is?
Yeah, I would say as much as we can't control the world around us, especially right now, and we couldn't before either. You can't control how other people treat you or work environments, all of that, but you can control your own routine and what you're doing with yourself every single day. And so that routine aspect of creating healthy habits is so important, because you're right, during COVID, a lot of people are drinking more, are like staying up a lot later. They're just, everything has shifted. And so really creating like a morning routine of getting up every day, having a certain drink that you like, maybe going out for a walk, like creating those certain things where okay, that is my staple. And then even at nighttime, like turning off your phone by 10 o'clock or not staying up all night. So having those staples just to really keep you consistent, because your body loves consistency. So if you're
Mhm.
all over the map, you're really not creating anything that's long lasting for health. So getting, yeah, especially throughout COVID, creating those staples where every day you have certain things where it's part of a routine.
Crazy. So I live by that. I'm very rigid. Me and Rachel always go back and forth, because I'm very like rigid in my ways. Like once I have a certain pattern, I stick to it, and I like, it can serve me well or it can serve me negatively. So if you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yep, yeah.
What are yeah? I mean, let's even just dive deep into that. Like, what are some basics that maybe even you do, or that maybe people just aren't aware of, just as a whole?
Yeah, and it's interesting because if someone looked at my life, they're like, "Oh, there's no way that I can just do all of that starting tomorrow." And like, and I think that's one of the myths of coming to see a naturopath. They think, "Oh, they're going to take me off of all of these things, and then they're going to ask me to do all these things," and they just feel overwhelmed by it. But I'm
Mm,
very much by the mindset of just integrate one new thing at a time. Any new thing that can just make your day healthier is what we want to strive for. Like putting your system in a different direction. And so for me personally, what I found really therapeutic, especially throughout COVID, is I started to write. Just writing a lot, even as like 10 minutes. There's actually quite a bit of science on even just putting things on paper for 10 minutes. And it can be literally about like anything about things that you like, things that make you happy. It could even be venting, like I didn't like that this happened. Getting things on paper helps with calming anxiety, but it's so powerful even for boosting your immune system. So especially throughout COVID, helping with white blood cell development and helping how your body's fighting infection. The simple thing of writing for 10 minutes, the study was for 3 times a week. So that's pretty cool. And it kind of gets you out of your head too when you're have a lot to think about and a lot to do. It has a whole different therapeutic effect on your nervous system, just getting things on paper. Some other things I like to do, I want to be really consistent with how much water I'm drinking because it's easy to just to forget about that, especially if you're busy. So I say for everyone, getting at least 2 liters of water, and that's just straight up water. So no like coffee, caffeine, all those other like juices, that does not count. So just water. What else? Oh, one thing that I'm just like, I love doing, and I just cannot start my day without it, is I do contrast showers. Have you heard of that before?
Cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot.
I just cannot finish my shower unless I go in like freezing cold, and it sounds so torturous, but the amount of energy that I get just from doing that and just getting my whole system moving. So yeah, just having your regular shower and then going for 20 seconds of freezing cold all throughout. It doesn't get easier, but that's one thing I just can't start my day without now.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's really great. It's for so many things. Like for me personally, I just find my energy is just so different just waking up to waking up to that torture.
Yeah. We went to a spa a few weeks ago where they had a cold tub and then a hot tub and then a steam room, and we were like going back and forth. And the cold tub is like torture, but then you get out and there's like this boost of confidence, and I don't know,
Yeah.
you just feel so much better.
But if you think about it, like most of us are in front of a computer all the time, or we're more stagnant. We're not as active as even like before COVID. A lot of us had desk jobs. And so if you think of the way that your body detoxes and the way it gets moving, your lymphatic system, it doesn't have a pump. So like the way that you get rid of garbage in the body, there's no pump there. And so it needs things like movement and exercise and even those contrast showers that get things moving. So it's really helping just clean up your system. So those tiny little things that you can do in the day just to really have your body functioning better is what it's all about.
Yeah, I find water really like cleanses out my body. Okay, there's too many people that do not drink enough water. You know, like
Yeah, and
I
it's
don't drink
easy.
Coke, I don't drink juice, none of that. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say it's easy to forget, right? A lot of people, if they don't have like a bottle right beside them, then they just get busy and drink all their water at night, and then they stay up all night. So yeah, having the water throughout the day is a big part of yeah.
And break the myth of, well, I'm drinking coffee. There's water in coffee right here, so that's my water intake.
I know. So we all know that coffee is just a diuretic, right? So it's like as soon as it's similar, like as soon as you have a glass of alcohol, you're just going to be like going to the bathroom all the time. But same with coffee, it's going to actually dehydrate you. So every
Mm.
1 cup of coffee you have to match that with 1 cup of water, and that just keeps you like baseline neutral. So you're not actually becoming more hydrated just from that one. So, but you're right. A lot of people live off coffee, and that it's like, yeah, there's water in that. I wish, because that would be
Yeah.
amazing, right? Just to say, yes, I had 10 cups of coffee and now I'm good. But no,
No, that's how you crash, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Interesting. So I talked to a good chunk of people that take I don't want to say take a good chunk of it, or a good chunk of people, but antidepressants. I know that helps in the moment. What is your take on it? And I know there's a lot of people that are on it. Like I've helped people come off antidepressants, especially they think because it's, I don't want to say the professionals are recommending it, but especially in this realm, like people are saying, take antidepressants, it'll help with your speech and your anxiety and blah, blah, blah. You'll be able to speak better. What is your take on that? And what is a better approach, if there is a
Yeah.
better approach?
Well, you probably know my answer to that one already. So, taking any drug, we all just need to understand it's just kind of like a blanket. It's not really addressing the root cause of why someone is depressed in the first place, right? And so, I do a really cool test here in the clinic where it looks at neurotransmitters. So, it looks at serotonin, it looks at dopamine, but it also looks at your hormones, because we know that depression can be caused by so many things. So, for females, if they're low in estrogen, if they're low in progesterone, low in testosterone. So for men too, if you have low in testosterone, you don't feel like doing anything. You just feel more blah, you have no get up and go, you force yourself to do stuff, but you just really don't want to do it. Low sex drive, like it's all impacted. And those are very similar expressions of depression too, right? So you can see how it's all intermingled. So I do a test where we can actually see, what do your hormones look like? What do your stress glands look like? Because some people who are depressed are simply burnt out. They just feel they've been go, go, go for so long that now they say, I'm exhausted. I just don't have that drive that I used to have a year or 5 years ago. So I'm all about understanding why the depression is there in the first place. And even it could be situational too, right? So if we know if someone was grieving or lost someone or lost a job, or if there's anything that was just very emotionally attached, we know that there's a situational period where we just have to feel those emotions, and it's okay to feel sad, right? So just to take a antidepressant, it's like you're going to deal with those emotions later. So if you're getting through it right now, and some people maybe need that because they're so low. But I always say, let's dig deeper, looking at what do your hormones look like, what do your adrenals look like, and then the brain neurotransmitters. It's a big deal because most of these, like dopamine and serotonin, is actually produced in the gut. So a lot of people don't know that, where we think it's mainly the brain that releases these neurotransmitters, but 80% is produced in the gut. So we could see, what can we do to strengthen how your own system is producing serotonin, and what can we do differently to give you those hormones that we're too low in. So testing is a really great way to kind of like narrow in and pinpoint what is that underlying issue of what your body needs to be supported in.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And just hearing you talk, that's why I'm big on speech techniques. Like if we talk about communication, like speech techniques are good, like in the moment when you're under pressure. But this is, to me, when you're talking, Dr. Laurie, this is the foundation that someone needs to live in. And when they live in this, everything works just so much better. The
Yeah.
words come out better. They're able to articulate. The blocks they're not as harsh.
Yeah.
And just happiness improves. That's essentially it. Like, it's so easy, but we complicate it.
And the coaching needs to be there too. Like it's not one or the other, right? Like you can have the best coach in the world, but if your hormones are a mess and you're burnt out, like you just won't get the same type of success, whether you have that integrative approach. So you're right. You do need to look at all aspects of it. If someone wants to improve their speech, there's just no other way.
Love that. Love that. I got a few quick questions over here. What does healthy body, healthy mind mean to you?
Well, it's like, let me get some water for this one. It's an exciting question. It's not, we're so used to it being a lack of. So it's like, oh, I don't have high blood pressure, so I must be healthy. I don't have cancer, so I must be healthy. To me, it's really just, yes, not having those symptoms that take you down or make you feel worse, but really it's ultimate energy. I think for someone to feel optimistic, to feel lots of energy without pain, that's really, and being able to do the things that they love to do, right? So it's to not say, oh, I can't go on this hike because I'm too tired, or my knees hurt, or something that's impacted. And same with speaking, to not say, oh, I can't go do this presentation because I just don't feel that I'm healthy enough to do it. Like, to really not have any of those obstacles. I think that's true health, to be able to do anything that you're passionate about, and to feel strong while doing it.
Cool. I'll give you an example. I'm a professional and I'm burnt out. What are some basics that you would tell me to do to like just change up where I'm at? I'm working 60, 70, 80 hours a week and I'm going cuckoo right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that is like probably most people that come into the clinic, because that's when our symptoms start to happen, right? It's like when you're so burnt out, you start to feel things more, and pain is just bringing you down. So some quick tips: if you're feeling burnt out, you have to address the sleep. So if even 1 cup of coffee in the morning keeps you up at night, you have to get rid of that. A lot of people do really well where they do intermittent fasting. So where they even like stop eating by 6 or 7 p.m. just to kind of give their digestive system a break, so you're not going to bed on a full stomach and then your body's just really overactive. And so sleep, getting rid of stimulants, and even just those grounding work, like doing something that's just more grounding and deep breathing, something that's just so simple as that, where you're counting deep breaths in, hold, and exhale. Just like stop that go, go, go all the time, because that's exactly what's making you burnt out in the first place.
I love this. You're awesome. Supplements you recommend we all take.
Okay. So for nervous system, for speech specifically, I would say you need to get enough B vitamins. So people who are overachievers and work all the time and just go, 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 you tend to utilize those Bs even more. So for you need to supplement if they're not in the diet. So the leafy greens, nut seeds, those would be high in B vitamins. That is crucial for your nervous system. But even like you said, like for depression, for anxiety, for sleep, you need B12 to produce melatonin. So it's all correlated. Healthy fats. So whether it's a supplement for fish oils, or if it's getting enough fish in the diet, or olive oil, coconut oil, the fats are really crucial for how our cells are communicating. So making sure that's in the diet. If you need to supplement, then taking fish oils. What other supplements would I recommend?
A
Those are the top.
multivitamin?
Pardon me?
A multivitamin or no? Are you a fan of those?
No, not so much. I don't know. I'm more of a fan of kind of like piecemealing things together. If you look at what multivitamins, if you actually look at the ingredients of what's in it, it's like, just say the recommended dose for B vitamins are 100 milligrams a day. In a multivitamin, it'd be like 1 milligram. So it's like, it makes
Whoa.
people feel really good. Like I have a couple brands that I do like actually, and that are food based and they have higher levels. But for the most part, the ones that people buy from whichever drugstore, they have just like such small amounts of everything. And they also put a lot of fillers in it. I've seen some multis that the first ingredient is sugar. There's like a sugar coating on it. Like, what is that? Why? So looking at the ingredients, making sure it's a good quality, then I'm sure there are some really good ones out there. But for the most part, I like getting optimal doses of the individual things that people need.
So don't go to Costco for your vitamins. That's what you're saying.
There's definitely some better places you can go.
That is such a great deal, Dr. Laurie. Okay, I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean, I had one more.
I know. And that's the thing, right? It's like when you're choosing for your health, it's like, do you want quality or do you want something that's going to last you a year? It's like,
Well,
I know. Yeah. Well, I want,
quality.
yeah. Choose quality. You want quality.
Cool, Dr. Laurie. Well, you're awesome. As we wrap up this interview, is there any anything that you want to leave off with the audience? As you're filing your final notes that you want to leave off with them for people who are watching the summit.
Yeah, I think everyone should get their whole system assessed, like just to get that full assessment, because we all think we're healthy, we all think we're doing the right things, we all maybe not, a lot of people maybe don't think that, but for the most part, you don't know what is going on in your system until you get tested. So even understanding what's going on more of a cellular and hormonal level, I think that's the key. And the best news could be, yes, you're doing everything right and everything is amazing. But if there's things that we can tweak, there's always things that we can work on. So I empower everyone just to kind of dig deeper into their health and not just taking that symptom as the main issue, just looking deeper and saying, okay, what else can I change so I can just feel a lot stronger?
And if people want to get in contact with you, where's the best place to? Because I just had an assessment with your office and it was amazing. One of the best investments I've ever done on my body. So if they want to do that as well, how can they get a hold of you in your office?
Yeah, so you can go to drlori.ca, so drlori.ca. And then I also spend a lot of time on Instagram, so you can follow me there at inside.clinic. What is it? Inside health. I don't, I spent a lot of time there, but I don't even know the name of it. Inside.health.clinic. So I'm open to people messaging me there and following or having questions there.
Love it. Well, Dr. Laurie, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Again, you've heard it from her, Dr. Laurie. If you haven't upgraded to the All Access Pass, I do a bonus interview with Dr. Laurie. So upgrade now. But again, this is the 30-day speaker summit where you're going to learn all the tips, all the methods, and all the perspectives that you need to become the best version of you and the best speaker. So again, Dr. Laurie, thank you so much. And I'll see you in the next interview. Bye, guys.
Great.